What's going on, everybody? Crazy Dog back with another Cleveland Guardians video for you guys as we are just over 3 weeks away from the MLB trade deadline, which falls on August 1st this year. And when it comes to the Guardians, they're in a very precarious spot, as of course they sit 1.5 games out of first place in the AL Central. And this team is notorious for being a second half team, which means that they're notorious for getting hot in the second half and winning the division, because that's what we've done as of late. Like this team will derp around in the first half of the season, and then all of a sudden in the second half, this team just gets scalding hot, and then they get into the playoffs, and the rest is history, especially under Tito. Now, in regards to storylines heading into the trade deadline, there's one big storyline. Shane Bieber. Does he stay or does he go? He has 1.5 years left in Cleveland in arbitration, and the vibe around the team is that he could possibly get traded. Down to the Guardians trade him or nah? No idea. I have no clue. Now, before Tristan McKenzie got hurt, I was thinking, yeah, they could definitely trade him. But now that Tristan's out for a little while, I honestly don't know if they will or not. I mean, there's always the risk that you don't trade him, and then he gets hurt, and then his value goes down the tubes. And then there's if you trade him, what does that do for your playoff hopes? Well, the hope is, if you trade him, you get maybe a big bat in return, maybe some other stuff, and you address a need or two, and then you get rolling. You rely on your pitching depth, which we've already seen. Gavin Williams, he's pretty good. Now, hopefully, Tristan will be back at some point this year. He did not have surgery on his elbow. He's just going to rest it and I guess do a little rehab or whatever. So we'll see how that goes. But other than that, I mean, you have Logan Allen, who's currently in AAA for some reason. Cal Quantrill's back on the IL. Surprise, surprise. Tanner Bybee's been up and down in terms of how good he's been. He's been a little shaky with command, but he's been solid other than that. And then, of course, you have the guys that, have been here for a while. Of course, Tristan and Aaron Savali. So it's not like we don't have depth. And heck, if we trade Bieber, we might be able to get a solid, starter or whatever in return. And who knows? We might turn around and trade for a starter. At least, as a fill-in. Who knows? But anyways, I was searching the web looking for articles to do a video on. And I found one from CBS Sports that talked about 20 possible trade targets. And believe it or not, the Guardians were mentioned in 5 targets. Yeah, the Guardians were mentioned as a possible destination for 5 trade targets. And those 5 trade targets are Brent Rooker of the Oakland Athletics, Lane Thomas of the Washington Nationals, Cody Bellinger of the Chicago Cubs, Yasmani Grandal of the Chicago White Sox, and finally, Yan Gomes, also of the Chicago Cubs. Now, you look at Brent Rooker's stat line, 60 hits, 14 dingers, 241 batting average. That's freaking crazy. He would have double the amount of homers as Stephen Kwan and Will Brennan combined. I'm not going to count Arias. I'm not going to count David Fry or Oscar Gonzalez, mainly because they don't really play outfield that much. Yeah. That would be freaking crazy. And of course, Miles Straw has 0 home runs. He has not hit a homer in like 2 years. Freaking insane. But yeah, Brent Rooker would be a great acquisition. You look at his other stats, 30 runs, 42 RBIs, 1 stolen base, 336 on base percentage, 466 slug, 802 OPS, 128 OPS plus. Yeah, I would take that on my team. Now, the one problem is, this dude hasn't even hit arbitration yet. So unless you somehow hit the Jedi mind trick on the A's and you maybe, pull a fast one on him, I don't think they're going to trade him. He has an insane amount of term left on his contract. So unless, like I said, you pull a fast one on him, They're not trading him. I would love him. Don't get me wrong. I would love Brent Rooker on this team. I just don't think it'll happen. Now, the second name featured was Lane Thomas. You look at his stat line, 104 hits, 14 dingers as well, 305 batting average. An outfielder hitting over 300. Imagine. That's freaking crazy. My God. Contact machine. Yeah. 58 runs, 48 RBIs, 7 stolen bases. Yeah. 351 on base percentage, 507 slug, 859 OPS, 137 OPS plus. And you thought Rooker's stats were nice. Unlike Rooker, Lane Thomas has already entered into arbitration. He'll be entering his second year of arbitration next year. So he'd be relatively cheap. But again, would the Nationals want to deal him? Honestly, for the right price, I'd take him all day long. For that production, yeah, I would put him on this team yesterday. For real. Oh, man, I would do anything to get freaking Lane Thomas on this team, man. Even trade Bieber? Bieber wouldn't. We're not trading Bieber to the freaking Nationals. Are you kidding me? Bro, he wants to be on a playoff team. If we're going to trade Bieber, it's going to be to a playoff team like Baltimore for like Kierstad. You know, whatever. That's a name that's been floating around Guardians Twitter. Yeah, there's quite a few names. But then you look at Cody Bellinger. 62 hits, 8 homers, 298 batting average, 41 runs, 28 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, 3 of 52 on base percentage, 486 slug, 838 OPS, a 126 OPS plus. So yeah, again, pretty good. Yep. Now, what I like about Lane Thomas is he's a righty. We don't really have too many righties in our lineup. I mean, we have some switch hitters, but in terms of overall straight up righties, we don't have that many righties in our lineup. So yeah, I would definitely take Lane Thomas. Cody Bellinger, I don't know, because you look at his current contract situation, he's got a mutual option next year for $12 million base salary. Now, with David Blitzer now on board as a minority owner, maybe we'd be more willing to spend some money. I mean, as we've extended some players as of late, we signed Josh Bell to a pretty good contract, although with the way he's been playing, it doesn't look so good anymore. And then, of course, we tried with Mike Zunino. That epically failed, of course. Maybe we'd be more willing to take on some money in Cody Bellinger's contract. After all, he will be a free agent after next year. I mean, maybe we could, get him for a good price, but not sure about that. But then you look at the catchers mentioned. Yasmani Grandal, 59 hits, 6 homers, 254 batting average, 18 runs, 21 RBIs, no stolen bases, of course, 312 on base percentage, 379 slug, 692 OPS, and a 91 OPS plus. And of course, the one thing about Yasmani is he's a walk magnet. He loves to draw walks. And then you look at his contract. Unlike the others mentioned so far, he actually has a no trade clause modified, and he'll be a UFA after this season. So he's essentially a rental. And I don't think the Guardians are in a position to be trading for rentals. The only teams we're going to be seeing trading for rentals are teams that are in bona fide win now mode, like, teams that are trying to win a title, and they're just like 1 or 2 pieces away, right? I don't think we're really in that position. Now, I mean, we could still trade for Yasmani and then have him maybe, work with Bo Naylor and then next year go out and get another catcher or something. But do we really even have another catcher waiting in the wings to back up Bo? I don't think so. Not that I know of. There might be one like deep in the minors, but I don't know. And then you got my guy, Yan Gomes. 46 hits, 8 homers, 264 batting average, 26 runs, 27 RBIs, 1 stolen base. Wow, a catcher has a stolen base. Who would have thought? I mean, Bo can do that too, but haven't seen that yet out of him in the majors. 307 on base percentage, 425 slugging, 732 OPS, and a 97 OPS plus. And for anyone wondering what are these guys' WAR, because that's a stat that people pay attention to, Brent Rooker's WAR is 1.1. Lane Thomas has a 2.9 WAR. Cody Bellinger has a 1.9 WAR. Yasmani has a 0.1 WAR. And Jan has a 1.1 WAR. Wins against replacement, for those wondering. Now, in my opinion, now of course we look at Jan Gomes' contract. He has a club option next year for $6 million, which is not that bad for a backup catcher. I would definitely take Jan Gomes as a backup behind Bo Naylor. That would be nice. That would be really nice. Crazy Dog, do you think we could get a package of Cody and Jan? That's like, what, $18 million taken on? I don't think that happens. Now, if I had to name my top preferences of the names mentioned in this article, I would say Lane Thomas is definitely up there as like number 1 or 2, right up there with Brent Rooker, and then maybe Jan Gomes. Now, of course, we're going to probably hear some rumors coming out over the next week or so as we get closer, and we'll see what we do with Shane Bieber. But, of course, it all depends on what the Guardians do coming out of the All-Star break. We got 3 games left heading into the break, and then coming out, we'll see what they do. But this is going to be a very interesting stretch to watch coming out of the break. I'm going to say the next 2.5 or so weeks. Yeah, we'll know what this team's going to do probably by the series heading into the break, heading into the All-Star. No, damn it, heading into the trade deadline. God. We'll know exactly what they're probably going to do heading into that series. We'll get a good idea. So if we hear any news, like rumors and such, you already know I'll have a video talking about it. If I see any cool articles mentioning possible targets for the Guardians, I'll make a video talking about it. You already know what I do. But with that being said, guys, as always, leave a like on the video, subscribe for more, hit that bell so you know when I go live and post new videos, because I'll be doing a lot more videos like this as we get closer to the deadline, especially if I hear any rumors or whatever. And of course, I'll be doing videos for the Browns, the Cavs, the Blue Jackets even, although they've been very quiet so far in free agency. That's what they usually do, though. They usually don't make noise. Last year was an outlier. It was like lightning in a bottle for the Blue Jackets. They went out and they got Johnny Hockey. Yeah. They blew up the hockey universe with that move, pretty much. Nobody saw that coming. Not even me. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got, guys. And hope to see you all tonight for my stream. Royals Guardians game 2. Got a big win. Literally big. What was it? 6-1. Let's see if we can do that again tonight. Got Savali on the mound. Let's see how that goes. Hope to see you all there. I'm Crazy Dog. Let's go Guardians. And I'm out. Bye-bye.